Okay. Good evening, guys, and welcome. I tell you what, I got the lovely ends with me tonight, and well, I called her Ems, and my wife just said Emily, but I called her Ems. And I remember when I first met her, I just keep on going on all the time, spelt your name wrong and whatever it was. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for all your support. And don't forget, next week I'm not going to be here. I'm afraid it'll be Emily on. It'll be Emily all on her own.
Yep.
So please, please look after her and make sure you, yes, don't give her grief when I'm away because she'll tell me when I come back. What are you talking about tonight, Ems?
Well, we'll have a good time next week. So today I've been thinking a lot this week about how what is our natural state, and I really believe that our natural state is a state of peace and rest. And the reason why I think that is because I just go back to how we are when we're a child, and I have talked about this here with you. um we tend to be, and it of course it depends on your childhood and things like that, so not taking that into consideration, but just a natural state for a child is it's peace and calm, not worried in present moment, just, and not even on purpose, just it's just natural to for a child to be in a peaceful state. And so I've been really thinking about that this week, because what I realize is what I'm doing, and what I found 5 years ago when I was coming out of my dark time, my breakdown, how I met the present moment, and all of that. I realize it's just me returning back to my natural state, and that I had for the last before that for the last 40 years I had been thinking thoughts and practicing things that were taking me out of the state that my body naturally wanted to be in. And of course our bodies are equipped to handle stress, adrenaline and cortisol and the fight or flight type of situations. Like we have those just from evolution and just from living life. We definitely have times where we need to be aware and stronger and faster and all those things just to be safe. But what I realize as I've been thinking about it, and I've I've spent more than just this last week thinking about it. I've thought about it a lot, since I had my situation, and I'll share why in a second. But our bodies aren't designed to be in a constant state of stress. And so that's the piece that's really important, and I want to like tease out today, is because the constant straight up state of stress is the issue, is the thing that is not helpful for us. And I'll explain why. But I wanted to go back to what happened to me. I actually ended up having what was called adrenal fatigue, and I had numerous other things that were going on. And my body was breaking down because I was in such a high state of stress all the time. So I had generalized anxiety disorder that had been undiagnosed, for many, many years. And I kind of traced it back to probably about the age of 12 or 13 when I started to see signs of it. And so I could really speak to the fact that our bodies really aren't designed for a high level of stress. And I even would say, like, a regular level of stress, if it's every day, all day long. And actually, I've come to call that daily suffering. So, like a low grade daily suffering. So, I would wake up in the morning and be pretty anxious just upon waking, and then kind of anxious all through the day, go to bed a little bit anxious, and just start the cycle all over again the next day. And so it doesn't have to be a high level of stress. It can just be what I would call like a low grade stress. And for a lot of people, you might think, well, that's just kind of life stress, right? That's just kind of like normal stress. And I really don't think so. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but if you look into it, we all know that stress wears on the body. So if you are stressed, you get sick more often. You could get ulcers. You can just be more tired. You can not be able to think clearly. So there's like things called like decision fatigue. You're more irritable. You're more reactive. There's so many things. So you could look at the mental toll that stress takes on you. You have a hard time thinking, reasoning, creative problem solving. And then you've got the emotional piece. So you're exhausted, you're irritable, you're reactive. And then you've got the body piece where your body's literally being worn down. If it's by stress, it could be like I said, like ulcers and different systems in your body not working correctly. And then it can start to affect just the production of your hormones and the chemicals in their body. So everything kind of gets thrown off. And so I've really been thinking about that. And I realized this week, I was like, oh my gosh, everything inside of our body is telling us that it wants to be at peace, that it wants to be in its natural state. And so those were the kind of the pieces that came together this week for me, because I think about this stuff a lot, because I not only did it transform my life, but now, I'm here like sharing with other people. And so I think about it a lot and explore a lot about it. And I realized our body is giving us signs all the time that it wants to be in a state of peace. And it's almost like little, like we had talked about, like little signposts, like little red flags or little yellow flags saying like danger, danger. And that's actually what happened to me. Like even before I had my breakdown and my body just shut down because of my anxiety, I had known for about a year. I had just felt like I was kind of not taking care of myself very well. I just felt like I was off. I even went to a counselor to see if she could help me manage my stress better. So I kind of knew that this was not, a good space to continue to be in. And I really didn't um, do much about it. I kind of, like I've said in the past, I kind of was like flirting with it. I was kind of flirting with mindfulness. I was kind of flirting with meditation. I was kind of flirting with the idea of self-care, but I wasn't really actually doing it. And really for most of us, honestly, there will come a time where there's something that happens to us that really can't kind of push it under the rug anymore. um it doesn't need to be a 6 month sort of breakdown like I had, but it could be just little things during the day that you start to notice, like you're kind of slipping and you're not thinking as clearly, or you just wake up in the morning from a full night's rest and you just don't feel rested. You don't feel like, "Oh, I'm still tired this morning." And that really could be, and a lot of times people call that burnout. That can be characterized as burnout. So like you sleep fully all night and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, why do I still feel exhausted? It's because you can't quite catch up, and that's also one of the feelings that I had, was like I couldn't quite catch up. I couldn't quite get to the place that I wanted to be. And I really thought a lot about that. And the amazing thing about the whole thing, it's just our body telling us, and our brains telling us, and our emotions telling us. Everything inside of everything that we are is just telling us it's better to be at peace. And you can be productive. You can actually, I'm way more productive now, living in this space of present moment and living in predominantly a space of peace, than I ever was when I was running around with my head cut off, because I was being so reactive and I didn't have my gas tank full, or my cup full, or however you want to say it. So now I have a full tank of gas. Now I can think clearly. Now, rather than being reactive, I'm not reactive anymore. I am proactive. So it's coming from a different space. And the other amazing thing about all of this, as I've been thinking about it more, is not only is that our natural state, and our body rewards us. It rewards us for being in that state. We feel better. We think better. We our body our digestion's working better. All our hormones are being produced in a better, more efficient way. It just creates this space. And I actually tell my kids, it's, you want to set yourself up for success in life, you know? So like if you're thinking, if like say you have a new job and you want to, you know, make sure, like, so you're going to start Monday morning, and you, so that weekend you're not going to party all night long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're going to, like, you know, make sure you get good sleep, make sure you have the right clothes and they're all ready to go. If you're going to pack a lunch or whatever, you're going to make sure you have that on Sunday. Make sure you're going to have your food. You make sure you're going to eat well, whatever you do. You know, so you're going to wake up early on Monday morning, or make sure you have gas in your car. You're going to make sure you've eaten, and you're, yeah. So these are all the things that you do, like when you're setting yourself up for success for like a first day of work or a first day of school or something. So that's how I look at this. I look at this as like you're setting yourself up for success for your life just by listening to what your body is telling you and asking you to do. Really, I don't really think our body tells us what to do. Well, unless you're in a situation like me with my breakdown, and where it was kind of like, you know, time out, this is not going to work anymore. um your body is asking you and inviting you and saying, you know, we it feels better. It actually feels better to be in a peaceful, restful state. And so interesting why we fight against that. And so I've spent the last 5 years sort of unpacking, why was I in that other space? And what were the beliefs that I had that kept me in that space? What were the thoughts that I had? What were the patterns that I had? And so that's a lot of what we've been doing here together. And that's a lot of what I do in my Be the Moment process, is explore that. And then also with my book, which we can talk about later. But this is sort of like the background to that, and the layers as I'm continuing to learn and explore this whole process is, our body needs to be in a space of peace and rest. And when it is, everything is working properly, and everything is beneficial, and everything is in alignment, and um, we benefit from all of it. So we're rewarded. We're rewarded in every single way that I can possibly think of, when we find that space of peace. And so then that leads me to, you know, how do you find that? And and I've been exploring that too. So I believe that how we find that is by connecting to present moment, because in present moment is where we are. It's where we exist. It's the only place that we exist. And I know I've shared about this a lot, but I'm so passionate about it. So present moment is the only place where we can think thoughts, where we can feel feelings, where our body is, where we breathe our breath, where we say words, you know, where we take in information. So the only place we can learn anything is right now, when we're like reading something or hearing someone talk. The only place that we can have connection with other people is right now in present moment. And so that's the only place that everything is. What happens is that we believe something that's wrong. So we believe somehow that what is happening in the future is more important, takes precedence, or we give priority to this thing that hasn't happened yet. Also, you know, if we're really fixated on, like, if we experience a lot of guilt, a lot of shame and embarrassment and that kind of thing, that can be when we are really focused on the past. And then if you have a lot of anxiety and worry and stress and that kind of thing, that's that can be an indicator that you're like really focused with your thoughts on the future. And so the thing that's changed is that you believe or you think or you, I want to say, you know, because we don't do it consciously. I wasn't doing this consciously. You give priority to another time and space where you aren't. So a future time and space, or a past time and space. Lao Tzu is one of my favorite quotes. Lao Tzu says that if you're focused on the past, you're depressed. If you're focused on the future, then you have anxiety. And peace is in the present is where you feel peace. And so this is something that I've been really thinking about. And so it sounds super simple, and it is. And I think that that's actually one of the issues that I had with it and that other people have with it, is that it's so simple that it almost doesn't make sense. Like, it's so simple. It's like, well, okay, yeah, I'm sitting here right now. This is where I'm breathing. And it's like, no, think about it for a second. Like, really wrap your head around this. Like, really wrap your head around the fact that you're only ever now in this space. And the reason why that's so important, I believe, going back to the whole peace, is that when you connect to present moment, the natural reaction for your body is to calm down. I mean, almost instantly. And I've worked with quite a few people now that it's like the first physical response that you have to connecting to present moment, whether it's a breathing practice or a grounding practice, like just really connecting to your physical space around you, or breathing. Those are my two main ones to enter present moment, connect to present moment. The initial first physiological reaction is to calm down. And it actually has been proven scientifically that if you focus on what's called conscious breathing, so whether that's just doing a long inhale and a long exhale, all the things that we practice here, or it's just sitting with natural breathing rhythm, breathing in and out, that calms down your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, which is the anxiety, which is the stress, which is the worry. So just doing that moves you into a space of peace, even if it's just for a few moments. And it really doesn't matter, because what I say and what I think is that as we practice and connect to the moment, those moments just get strung like together. So here's a moment, here's a moment, here's a moment, here's a moment. So, I mean, the funny thing about present moment is it's always a new moment, right? like, like you're never like, okay, I'm in present moment now, and then that's it. Then you're in present moment forever. No, it's a practice, and so you can string these moments together. So your whole life is just a series of present moments that's strung together, because we're never not in present moment. But the trick is that we become disconnected from present moment because of our thoughts. And so that's the piece that's so important, that we recognize that our thoughts, we're thinking that, or we're forgetting, or we're not even conscious of the fact that we're elsewhere. We're not connected. We're not reaping the benefits and all of the riches and values and information that are in present moment. Because I mean, when I do my present moment practices and when I do my process, as you know, we only focus on one thing at a time. And the reason we only focus on one thing at a time is because when you're in present moment, there's all this information that's coming to you, you know, all the time. Like, even if you're sitting in a quiet place, there's things you could look at, there's things you could hear, there's things you could smell, there's thoughts in your head, there's things that you're feeling. So that's why we like break it down into these different things. And yeah, Steve, I'm so glad that you're showing my book right now, because that's what I do. And what I'm sharing about is what I do in my book is I make the case for connection to present moment. And I call it mindfulness. And I say that mindfulness is present moment awareness. Mindfulness. And in my book, I take you to my story, and then to why. So again, I go into why, and I'll show you my book is right here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's probably backwards, but there's my book. And you can see it's like, it's pretty, one of my friends said, oh, it's like a coloring book. I'm like, well, kind of, yeah, because I designed it to be really manageable. I designed it to be a workbook. And there's journaling pages and there's meditations that go with it. And basically my desire in writing this book was to make the case for how important present moment is and how important getting back to our natural place of peace is. Our body is asking us to do that all the time. So whenever you're feeling dis-ease, whenever you're feeling anxious, whenever you're feeling stressed or depressed or anything, your body's actually saying, hey, I really would like to go back to a peaceful place. And this book guides you to how to get into that space. And along with the chapters and some journaling, you'll see that it says foundation meditations. And the foundation meditations go with the book, and they actually lead you into that space. So maybe you're saying, well, Emilie, I don't know. That sounds really, really good. I am tired. I am exhausted. I am feeling burned out, stressed, and depressed, and all these different things, like what I call daily suffering. You're like, yeah, I can totally relate to daily suffering. I wake up in the morning, or maybe maybe you're like, oh, I just want to be on vacation. I don't want to go back to work. So like, there's this kind of like feeling of like low grade dread. I don't want to get up in the morning. So what I'm saying is, no matter what your life looks like, no matter where you are, your body is asking you, when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel dis-ease, when you feel kind of that low grade suffering or dread, your body is saying, I really would like to be in a space of peace. That's what your body is telling you. It's sending you a yellow flag, or in my case it was a red flag, or in my case it was like a stop sign, like, just stop. You're being crazy. and so if you're saying, yeah, that sounds really good, but I don't know what to do, that's exactly what my book is for, is to make the case for mindfulness, for present moment, but then also to take you through the process that I actually went through in a really natural, organic way. And so you listen to the meditations that I lead, and then if things come to you, then you can write them down. Here's my book in person. You can write it down. I have little journaling pages. It's actually a really cute little book. I love it. And it's easy to do. It's manageable, because one of the things I wanted to do for people that are overwhelmed, I mean, the last thing I wanted was for someone to be like, do another thing, because I was like so overwhelmed, and so I didn't want to do another thing. And so this is really manageable. There's only 7 working chapters, and so you read a little bit. It's maybe like 1 or 2 pages where I've written things, and then you'll do the meditation. And so you don't really need to do anything. What I want you to do is experience what it feels like to be in that space, and to write things down, to listen. There's actually even a chapter, or in a little section at the end, where you can speak something out, like, and it's your declaration that you're making. And it's just this really organic, step-by-step process that I lead you through, that takes you out of that fight or flight, out of that reactivity, out of that burnout, and all of that, and makes the case for being in a place of peace, and then takes you to that place and lets you experience it, and lets you sort of unpack things. So like, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking that are keeping me out of the space? What are the feelings that I'm feeling? It gives you a chance to explore those things. And then it actually also takes you to a place to explore, like, the obstacles, like, what are the things that you're doing, or thinking, or that kind of thing, that are keeping you from taking this time for yourself. Like, what are the beliefs that you have that have made your life the way that you don't really want it to be? You want it to be a different way. You want to have better self-care, and you want to have mindfulness. And I don't even really talk about, like, as a meditation practice, because for me, it really is just about connecting to present moment. And so then at the end of the book, you've had some time, like maybe you're doing one chapter every night, so it'll take you a week, or one chapter every other day, so it takes you a couple weeks. So at the end of that 2 weeks, you will have gone through the process and had an experience, and hopefully because of writing and reading and listening and speaking, you've integrated it into your life. So there's this psychological term, this term in psychology that's called consolidation, which I actually just learned about recently, which is actually taking all the layers and then making it sort of integrate into your body. So it's not just that you've learned something, you've actually done it. And so I didn't realize that that's what I was doing with my book, but it's called consolidation. So that's the whole idea. And so at the end of this process, it's real to you. It's not just like something you're reading in a book, that it's a real thing for you. So the whole idea is that you recognize, okay, I'm not feeling great. I'm tired of this low grade stress, or I'm in burnout, or I'm afraid I am going to be burned out. I'm always exhausted, all those things. And then going, okay, oh my gosh, are you serious? Emilie just told me that actually my natural state is peace. Well, that sounds amazing. But I have no idea what that feels like. And then that's where the book comes in, is to show you what that feels like to be in a state of peace, and then to understand it and sort of unpack it, and then take the little tools out of it that work for you. So that's my hope for the book. And I'll just read you the last little. I have a little message at the end that I write to everybody when they've read the book. It says, "Dear beautiful soul, may the river of love surround you. May it support you and guide you. May the river of love flow into you and out of you. May it nurture you and heal you. May the river of love always be with you. I am honored to congratulate you on creating the foundation on which you will build the life of your dreams. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste, Emilie." So the whole point of the book, and why I call it foundation, is because I really believe that it wasn't until I had the understanding of that my natural state was peace, and that how I obtained that natural state of peace was connecting to present moment. And once I laid that foundation, that's where I talked a lot about love in that last little message. And that's where I believe that you access love, is in present moment. And I go into that and how that is transformative. And once you can connect to that, it feels so good, but that's where you want to be, and that's where you want to be operating from. And at that point, then you've built the foundation of that life, that life that you really like. Oh, I really, well, there's just something not right. I really want my life to be different. And I really believe that once we can access that state of peace that our body naturally wants to be in, and it's asking us to be in all the time, once we are there, it doesn't have to be even a regular basis, like every single day, all day long, but just consistent enough that it becomes a part of your life, that it becomes integrated into your life, so that if you are feeling stressed, you can just take a deep breath, and then you are aware that you feel relief, and that kind of thing. Then I believe you've literally built foundation on which you can really do the things that you've been wanting to do, and be the person that you want to be in that space. So that's my book. That's what I've been doing since last year, is when I started writing my book, and I've just been sharing with everyone ever since. So I just talked for a half an hour, Steve.
And where can they? And where can they? Well, I am not going there. I am not going there.
You were so quiet. Thank you.
I was, yeah, because at the end of the day, I thought you were interested. I kept on putting stuff up about you,
Yeah.
and that's all I was doing. I thought I'll let you go, you carry on. And I am not going to get into no woman's way. I'm staying away clearly.
Very smart man. Very smart.
Yes,
man.
I am very smart man. Just a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
What I've got for you. You said in the beginning about going to bed stressed. A lot of people do that, you know. They go to bed stressed out. They're thinking about, what am I gonna do for tea tomorrow, or
Right.
I've got to get the kids' clothes out and everything. What do you suggest? Because about what was it? I just it says here 45% in the UK where I live in the UK alone worry about things for the following day. They go to bed stressed out.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, and that's it. That is what you just said is the exact definition for me of what I call low grade suffering. That's the daily suffering that we experience just being alive and being in the modern day and having to do all the things we have to do. So you asked me, like, what do I do? So that is a big one for me, a big one. And so what I do if I'm feeling anxious, if I'm starting to feel, or my thoughts are racing, and we're talking about, like, going to bed, right? And it's important to get good rest, right? Especially if you're busy. And if we're
Totally.
stressed, it's hard to get good rest. So the best thing that I found is that I'll either sit on my bed or lay down in my bed, and you can listen to some like calming music if you want, or no, thunderstorms. There's a lot of different apps out there. There's all those different things that can help. But what I do is I just take some deep breaths, and I remind myself that when that thing happens tomorrow, at the moment that it happens, I will be prepared and I'll know what to do. And also I'll say that. And if that might actually even stress out some people, that might not be a good thing to think. So it really depends on what works for you. But I also will say, like, okay, I'm in my bed, and I really like focus on, okay, my bed is comfortable. My pillow is comfortable. I'll take some deep breaths. I'll say I am safe right now. So I focus on right now, and I see if I can take my focus off of a future thing that you literally have no control over it while you're trying to go to sleep in bed. You have no control over it. There's nothing you can do about something that's going to happen in 18 hours right there in bed. Then I'll say that, well, I'm not there right now. I'm here right now, and I'm safe and warm in bed. And I'll just talk to myself almost like I'm a little child. Like, you're safe, and I'll take some deep breaths. And that's just something I do a lot when I identify that I'm feeling stress about a future event, because that's when you feel stress, it's about something that hasn't happened yet or is going to happen in the future. And I just remind myself that I'm actually here right now, you know, and I don't have to worry about that right now. I will cross that bridge when I come to it, basically.
Uh, yeah, we all go through stress, and
Yeah.
it's like me this week. It's been really stressful for everyone. And the, the trouble is, it's dealing with it. You go to bed, you get stressed out. And I remember when my children were younger, and you've probably been through it because you're a mum,
Hmm.
and my wife used to get up in the mornings and sort the kids out for school and everything. And I could hear noises, get up, get out your bed, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You've probably been through all that,
Hmm.
and the kids will say, "Mom, but I need to get in the bathroom, but Chloe's in there or whatever, and things like that." So, oh, and my hair's not right, and and you're sorting your daughter's hair out, and something's gone pot, and we get all stressed out. And the trouble is, do we need to get stressed out really when we go to bed at night?
Well,
You know,
no. The answer, the easy answer is no, because there's nothing we can do about it right then in that moment. So what's happening is that we are actually asking our bodies, because the amazing thing about our bodies is our bodies doesn't know that it's not happening right now. So if we're thinking about, we're anxious to get the kids ready for school in the morning, and we're thinking about it the night before, we're having the thoughts, and our body actually thinks that it's happening right now. So it's
mm,
producing all the hormones, it's feeling the stress. And so you're actually now making yourself live through it multiple times, not just the
yeah,
one time in the morning, but like maybe like 5 or 10 times the night before. And then that doesn't sound like fun, and it's not fun. And your body can't can't keep up with that. It's too much to ask of your body, and
Yeah,
that's why you feel that's why you don't feel good. You
yeah,
know?
and especially when your wife kind of like turns when you go to bed, they turn the TV on and
Oh.
they started watching ghost films and stuff like that, or
Oh.
ghost programs, and you're there thinking, oh no, and I'm thinking, and it's like the other day I saw a shadow and everything, so I went under the quilt, and my wife said, "What are you, soft or what?" And I said, and I was like going, "Oh, Oliver, get away, go away," and and that's what she does. She comes to bed. We're in bed. I'm talking to
That's
her,
funny.
and next minute she just turn on ghosts. She watches these ghost programs.
Oh, I get scared.
Yes, so do I. I can't.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
then she handles. Then she gives me my sleep apnea mask. I got sleep apnea, and so that mask goes on. I'm glad because 10 minutes later I'm gone to sleep. And
Oh, nice. That's good.
totally, totally. But some people though, they do kind of like get stressed out to go to bed and don't. They get so tired. They get so moody in the
Mhm.
mornings. It's dealing with it because then we take it on the children, then don't we?
Well, yeah, and all of those things that you just said about being tired and stressed and moody, those are all signs. Those are all indicators that you need to find your natural state. Your body is telling, because I mean, think about it, those things don't feel good, and so the reason they don't feel good is because your body doesn't want you to be doing that. So it's almost like, oh, okay, like for me now, I know, okay, I don't feel well. Something is off. Okay, my body is telling me to take a step back and evaluate what's going on and see if I can find that space of peace. So when we don't feel good, no matter what it is, it's our body saying, okay, we don't want to be in a space. Let's be in a space where we actually feel good. And so when we feel good and we have good feelings, we have good emotions, our stress is down, we actually feel better. And the reason we feel better is because our body is rewarding us for doing the right thing. When we feel
No.
like crap, our body's saying, no, that's not the right thing to do. So we're punishing you basically for doing the wrong thing. You feel like
Yeah,
crap.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a way, it's like a guidance system. It's a like a GPS, an inner GPS of telling us, nope, you're off track a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, let's bring you back to the right
yeah,
path.
yeah. Okay, so where can people get your book to?
They can get it at my website, which is emilierawlings.com. I don't know if you can you see this or is it backwards?
No, it's okay. I can make it out. Yeah.
Yeah, emilyrawlings.com. That's where you
Hang on
get
for a
my book.
second. I just got stand on my head.
Oh, is it upside down?
Hang on. I got.
And then so you can get that at my website, and you can also get that, it should be on Amazon UK. Um so you can get that on Amazon. And then the nice thing about going to my website, though, and I've said this before, is you can get a link to the book, and then also you can get a link to the foundation meditations that go with it. When you click on foundation experience, like everything's there, like laid out for you. I try to make it as like as simple as possible and easy as possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to kind of go in absent to eat because I've been on this all day nearly.
Take a break.
Take a break. Yes, I will be taking a break next week. I'll be away.
Great.
And in the meantime, guys, don't forget you have got Emily all on your own next week.
Yay, I'm
And
excited.
go and have some peace and quiet. Yeah. So no, I'm only joking. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, on the radio at the moment they're doing rock and roll 60s music. So if you're interested in that, go over to that. And in the meantime, I'm going to say bye bye and good night to everybody. Thank you so much. Um,
Thanks. Have a great week.
oh, my wife just said to me that I've got another one at 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to go outside and bang my head against the door now.
Oh no.
But if you wait there for a second, I need to talk to you.
Sure.
So see you later, guys, and bye bye for now.